Mike Moore Media.
George Murphy is Wentworth Town Administrator, and he's on the media line now. Hey, George, welcome back.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I know it's a time of adjustment and all kinds of schedule changes and all of that. So we're going to look at what's happening in our county seat, and what about your meeting coming up next week?
Well, first and foremost, we normally have our meetings the first Tuesday of each month, and because of the COVID-19 concerns, the April meeting was canceled. And we are going to hold the May meeting, but this one is going to be done remotely. The town council members, the attorney, the clerk finance officer, and the town administrator will be on Zoom. And the meeting is going to be streamed on Facebook Live, and our IT person, which we deal with, Rockingham Updates, Roy Sawyers, does our recording our meetings generally. Mm-hmm. And he's going to assist us. What people can do if they want to tune into that, and I know it's great excitement when you do, is go to the Town of Wentworth webpage, mm-hmm. and that is at www.townofwentworth.com, and there will be a link on there to view the meeting electronically on Facebook and also for the webpage, and they will be able to follow along with that. And in addition to that, the meetings, public meetings for municipalities, for counties, are also required to have an opportunity for public comment portion in the meeting, mm-hmm. and people will be able to, public comments will be accepted by email before the meeting, and they will be read during the public comment portion of the meeting if anyone wishes to submit those. And, of course, you can find the email address for the town on the web page. Of course, it's also is townhall@townofwentworth.com. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's a way for the public to participate in the meeting, and this is going to be something new. We've had other municipal governments throughout the state who have worked in using this, and so we've listened to and Yvonne's done quite a good job of investigating some of the flaws, ins and outs of that. I know with Zoom in particular, and I would assume, I don't know if you've used it or not.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
They have a one that's not a paid service, it's a free service, and I think some folks tried to use that initially for meetings, and they had folks that came in and did some not-so-savory things during their meetings, and they had to but what we did is actually did subscribe to it, and the controls for the subscription are supposed to be a little bit stronger. So,
mm-hmm. Okay.
Hopefully, we won't have those issues.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed those juicy meetings of others.
I was glad from some of the things I've read and heard about that I didn't see them. So
I hadn't heard about that. Yeah. Well, the ones that I've seen around the county seem to be working quite smoothly. So that's good.
And we've there have been lots of with the technology that's there now. We've had phone conversations, phone conference calls between the county manager and the director of Health and Human Services to the mayors and other municipal managers. They include me with that as the administrator for the town, mm-hmm. Where we can have communications and share information.
So you're doing that really about every week, aren't you, at least?
Yes, we do that usually on Fridays at 2, mm-hmm. and then the Piedmont Triad Regional Council has been having a weekly meeting for managers in the region and have been incorporating individuals from the governor's office, the state treasurer's office, and looking at that. So that's been good, and those have been, I think, a go-to meeting log-in on that, and those are interactive and have been quite good. And then with the governor and his team, of course, have done their press conferences periodically during the week, and there have been some instances where the Rural Center has also had some streaming of things where folks were able to communicate. Mm-hmm. So there's good stuff taking place there with that.
Sure.
The one thing that's here for us, the office doors are locked here at Town Hall. So if somebody comes, there's signage on the door that says knock. And, of course, the town of Wentworth has all of 2 full-time employees. Mm-hmm. Yvonne is remoting. She has good enough connectivity at her home that she set up a home office, worked with our IT person to get everything coordinated, and she's able to do a sizable portion of her job from there. And, of course, we communicate by email, by phone, by text throughout the day with questions and whatever is taking place there. I live in the Bethany community, and I always refer to it because of our lack of connectivity as being 30 miles the other side of where the elephants go to die, because I don't have good cell phone service or internet service where I live. Mm-hmm. And so it's to have that, I need to come in here to the office. Plus, with some of the things that we have going on, somebody needs to be here. Mm-hmm. We have a rental home with a tenant there. The park project is underway, and there are questions that come up there with the architect and the contractor and all of that, and communications with the mayor and town council members. And, of course, the town also owns the property that the Wentworth post office is in, and occasionally there are issues there. So, I mean, there are things that need some more kind of hands-on touch, and my sister-in-law has made me some very nice masks. And those come in handy, and so I'm here at the town hall.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Okay. Somebody's got to do it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're the man on the job there, taking care of that.
Thank you very much.
That's good. Yeah. It's better than moving, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so thank you for that, and it really has. Put us all in a whole different level with communications, that's for sure, and everything now in the last couple of months. But you mentioned other things going on. What's happening with the park?
If folks are out and about at any point in time and do drive by, they can see that we do have signage up that says Future Site Wentworth Town Park, mm-hmm. And that's the property that's being developed there right next to Town Hall. The actual address for the park, the driveway entrance for that is going to come through the town hall parking lot. So the park's address, official address, I think from Kerry Spencer with Planning, Zoning, and Central Permitting, I think is going to be 126 Peachtree Road, where the town hall is 124 Peachtree Road. Mm-hmm. But they have obviously it was logged, and they left some trees that were there. The debris and all was removed. There was a lot of initial grading that takes place. They have installed a lot of the drainage system that's required that's going to be there as part of the park. The roadway is compacted, and they have been working on getting compacted crusher run down on that. And the site for the picnic shelter and the restroom facilities, the land has been compacted there, so the footprint of where those structures is going to be is very well defined. The playground equipment, there was a committee of two of the council members that worked with staff and the architect and presented the playground equipment idea of concept of that, and that's been elected to do. I think it's remember the company. I think it's Miracle Playground Equipment. They do some really nice stuff, and they haven't established where the pad is for that yet because there's still a lot of the other grading for the roadway taking place. Mm-hmm. And then the stage area, which is going to have a covered stage, a amphitheater area there, that still has not been established firmly. I mean, we know where it's going to go, but some of the other grading has taken place with that. But the weather, for the most part, has been very cooperative. A little bit of rain delay, but not that much. The restroom facilities for the park are going to be connected to the Rockingham County sanitary sewer system, and that's going to mean running a line under the road, NC 6587 there, and they're hoping that work is started next week. Mm-hmm. So those are good aspects.
Well, it sounds like it's really moving along quickly.
Well, and the contract stated that once they signed the contract, that they would have roughly 180 days, basically half a year, in which to have it completed. And, of course, they could run into delays, but so far, knock on wood, not many, no significant ones any. And that would mean that the park itself could be completed by late August.
Mm-hmm.
And construction is apparently considered essential, so that hasn't slowed it. And, of course, the people that are there, they're in, earth-moving equipment, et cetera, so they're pretty isolated in what they're doing there with that.
Yeah.
When we have the progress meetings, we normally meet outside, and we've kept our distance, and we all wear masks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, those are taking place. So my hope is that by late August that we may have the park actually in shape and ready to open. So,
oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. I know I mentioned that we have a rental house. It's next door,
mm-hmm.
and it's between us and the park, the town hall and the park. And when they were doing the grading, they actually damaged part of the drain fill line for the septic tank system for the house.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually in a wooded area. I had no telling, and it was apparently an extension to the original terracotta line that was there. It was the plastic pipeline. Anyway,
mm-hmm.
We need to do something to correct that, and we had to let everybody know from county health department and all that kind of bit. One of the things that's coming up in this virtual meeting, and I've already polled and spoken with council members individually about it, is that if we plan, I think, to connect the rental house to the sanitary sewer system as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the most logical thing, I think, to do, since we are going to be running the line for the park under the road, and we have and the lay of the land and everything. The surveyors with the architectural firm have confirmed that we've got good drop in the land to be able to do that. But the town is going to have to probably issue an easement to itself to be able to run the line through the park property.
Okay.
But we have to follow all the rules and regulations, just
mm-hmm.
like everybody else here with this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But that's whenever you start going underground, they always tell you in construction that you never know what you're going to run into, and that was something that was unanticipated and
mm-hmm.
a little bit of a problem, but we'll correct it in the long run.
Well, and I think in the long run, that will be a better situation there with that connection.
I think so.
Yeah.
I really think so.
Okay.
The major thing that's going on both with county governments and municipal governments right now, of course, it's budget season, and this is the COVID-19 has kind of thrown a wrench in the works as you're trying to figure that out.
Sure.
Because we depend a lot upon projections and the League of Municipalities is real good about publicizing that. When they initially sent stuff out in early March, they were looking at projections of the economy doing fairly well, and now with the shutdowns that have taken place, there are concerns about what effect that's going to have on budgets.
Lots of unknowns.
Well, and the thing for the town of Wentworth does not levy a property tax. That's just something we've never done. Our primary source of income for the town has come to us from sales tax revenue, sales tax distribution.
Mm-hmm.
And there are concerns right now with the downturn that we're looking at, that sales tax revenue is going to be considerably less. So we're having to kind of project what we think might be a realistic scenario, but be prepared for a worst-case scenario in that. The one element that the town of Wentworth does have in its favor with this, and I'm sure we'll discuss this at the meeting, is that we've had an extremely healthy fund balance. And Yvonne and I have talked it over, and I'm sure we're going to discuss it with council members as well Tuesday evening. But we think that the fund balance that we have will get us through this. We'll be able to weather it. Projections vary. You'll hear anywhere from 10% to as high as 40% reduction in sales tax revenue because of this.
That's quite a span there.
Yes, it is, and it's difficult to really know. I mean, this we're just in some unique territory all the way around with this.
Yeah.
So, but the town is in good shape with the fund balance.